Hey everyone, this is the Service Support Lounge podcast, where we have conversations to help service and support managers to create a deeper connection with their teams. So pull up a chair and let's talk.
This episode brought to you by HELP, support for the service professional in you. No matter your industry or position, everyone needs help navigating difficult customer situations. Available now on Amazon. Check the link in the description.
This week, we are continuing our series on calls gone wrong and what to do about them. Last week, if you recall, we discussed why a bad call feels so heavy. We talked about what's going on mentally and physically during and after difficult interactions. Today is part 2 of our 6-part series, identifying the 4 call types. We need to recognize that not all bad calls hit the same way. When you lump them together, you miss what's really happening internally. And the more you clearly understand what kind of call it was, the easier it is to recover from it. So the first call I want to talk about is the escalation explosion, when the customer loses control and you absorb the blast. This is the call that feels loud, the raised voice, the sarcasm, the interrupting, the let me speak to your manager or supervisor, the you people never get this right sort of scenario. These calls hit your nervous system fast. Your body tightens, your pulse jumps. You might even feel a little bit, defensive. And what's tricky about this type of call is that even if the anger isn't about you personally, your brain doesn't fully separate that in the moment. And we talked about how the brain doesn't do that last week. It feels almost like an attack, And what makes this one linger afterward is the emotional residue. You hang up and your system is still activated. You're thinking things like, what did I do that was so terribly wrong here? Was that really my fault? I handled that badly, or why do people talk like that? Or even worse, I really hate this job. And the truth about the escalation explosion is that most of the time, the customer was already upset before they even got to you. You just happen to be the closest outlet. And unless you are able to really understand that, you carry the weight that isn't yours. Recovery for this type of call requires reminding yourself that intensity wasn't mine to begin with. Because when you absorb it, you drain yourself faster than the job ever should. Our second type of call is going to be the technical failure. And that's when you genuinely just cannot fix the problem. Now this one is a lot quieter, but it hits a lot deeper. This is the call where the system is down, or the process is broken, or the policy doesn't allow for flexibility. The issue is above your authority. You really want to help, and you're trying, but you can't solve it. And if you're somebody who takes pride in being competent, this is the one that really stings. Because as we said last week, we service professionals often tie our self-worth to our effectiveness. When you can't fix a problem, you're going to feel like you might feel useless, you might feel powerless or embarrassed or exposed. Sometimes a customer will say something like, so you're really telling me you can't help? You can't do anything about this? And that type of comment really lands hard. Even though it's a system limitation, skill limitation, it feels very personal. This type of call doesn't raise your adrenaline, it chips at your confidence. And if it happens repeatedly, you start questioning your own capability. So recovery here requires clarity. You are responsible for effort and professionalism. You are not responsible for the broken systems. You just aren't. When frontline professionals start carrying system failures as personal failures, burnout accelerates. And that's not fair or accurate. The third call type, the personal trigger. When something that they say hits closer than it really should. This is a sneaky one because sometimes the call doesn't look dramatic from the outside. But there's something that they said that just stuck with you. Maybe they questioned your intelligence. or maybe they implied that you didn't know what you were doing, or they talked down to you. Maybe they used a tone of voice that reminded you of something in your past life, or something personal just really got under your skin. And suddenly your reaction isn't just about the call, it's about identity, the confidence. It's about respect. It's about being seen as capable. This is the kind of call that follows you home. You replay it in the car. You think about it in the shower. You wish you had responded differently. What makes this type heavy is that it touches something internal. And when that happens, recovery requires self-awareness. You have to ask yourself, why did that hit me? Not in a judgmental way, but in a curious way. Because sometimes the call isn't the real wound, it just poked one. And the truth is, when you understand that, you can separate. That comment was about their frustration, not about my worth. That's powerful work. That's growth work. The fourth call type we'll talk about today is the self-critique spiral, when you become your own harshest customer. Now, this one is entirely internal. The call might not even have been so terrible, but afterward you think, man, I really stumbled over my words there. Or I should have explained that one so much better. Or I sounded so unsure. Or why did I say it like that? And the replay begins. You dissect tone. You analyze phrasing. You magnify minor mistakes. No one else is criticizing you. You are. This type is common among high performers. The ones who care the most. The ones who want to be excellent. But the danger is, when reflection turns into rumination, confidence erodes. If every single call becomes a performance review in your own head, you'll never feel steady. Professional growth requires evaluation, but it also requires self-compassion. Otherwise, you'll hold yourself to a standard you never hold any of your teammates to. So recovery here means shifting from I messed up to what can I do to improve, and what did I actually handle well? Balanced reflection builds skill. Harsh reflection builds insecurity. So why is it important to identify all of these different call types? The breakdown is important because each type drains you differently. Escalation drains your nervous system. Technical failures drain your confidence. Your personal triggers are going to drain your identity, whereby the self-critique drains your self-belief. And if you don't know which one it was, you'll try to fix the wrong thing over and over again. But when you can name it, you can regain control. And naming is powerful because what you can name, you can actually manage. I hope that you enjoyed this second in our 6-part series titled Calls Gone Wrong and What to Do About Them. Be sure to join me next Monday evening for part 3, where we'll pull up a chair and talk about interrupting the spiral, that constant replay of tough interactions that occur throughout the day. Don't forget to like, comment, ask questions, agree, disagree, and most of all, subscribe so that you don't miss a single installment of this series. Be well, everyone.